Welcome back to USA Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating small coins in American history, the Lincoln penny from 1970. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but the truth is, collectors around the world have been chasing rare examples of this penny for decades, and some versions are worth staggering amounts of money. Yes, we are talking about values reaching over $222,679. Imagine holding that kind of fortune in your hand disguised as a simple cent part. The Lincoln penny series began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first United States coin to feature the image of a real historical figure rather than symbolic designs. By 1970, this series had already been circulating for over 60 years, and the Denver Mint was responsible for producing hundreds of millions of these copper coins. Yet within those millions, certain varieties and rare striking errors were born, and those are the ones that make this coin truly legendary today. The 1970 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The mint mark D appears just below the date. At the time, pennies were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters across. Collectors know this was one of the last decades before major changes were made to the composition of the penny, so copper coins from the 70s carry both historical and intrinsic value, especially when they come with rare minting details. Part Why is the 1970 D Lincoln penny so fascinating for collectors? It is because of varieties and minting mistakes. Some coins feature double dies, meaning the design elements were struck twice slightly out of alignment. On these pennies, the date, the lettering Liberty, or the words "In God We Trust" appear with a doubled appearance. Such details are not just mistakes, they are windows into the minting process, and collectors will pay a fortune for strong examples. A high-quality double-die penny from 1970 D can reach astronomical prices at auction. But even without doubling, condition plays a huge role in the value of a 1970 D penny. Most circulated examples are only worth face value, maybe a few cents to collectors filling books. However, when you find a coin preserved in uncirculated condition, with no scratches and a full red copper luster, the value skyrockets. Collectors often grade coins on a scale, with MS-60 being the entry for mint state and MS-67 or higher being extremely rare. A 1970 D penny graded MS-67 red is almost like finding a sparkling gem in a sea of ordinary copper. Part 6 History tells us that in 1970 the United States Mint was modernizing its equipment and producing coins in huge quantities. The Denver Mint struck over 2.8 billion pennies that year. With such massive production, you may wonder how a coin could ever become rare. The answer lies in the tiny percentage of errors and varieties that slipped through quality control, as well as the few survivors that remained in pristine condition for more than half a century. Rarity is not about how many were made, but how many survived in collectible quality. Part 7 Collectors love the story of the double die obverse from this year. While the Philadelphia Mint is famous for its 1970s double die variety, the Denver Mint also had unique striking characteristics that make the D coins attractive. Although they are less dramatic than the San Francisco varieties, the Denver pennies remain highly collectible because they represent the regional history of minting and offer their own special quirks, such as small die chips, repunched mint marks, or striking weakness. Part 8 So what about market value today? As of now, a regular circulated 1970 D penny might only bring you a few cents, but that changes quickly with condition. In uncirculated red condition, these coins can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars. And when you move into the territory of rare varieties or top-grade survivors, the prices explode. Auction houses have recorded sales going well into the thousands. In extreme cases, collectors have valued unique specimens above $200,000, with some reports pointing to sales as high as $222,679. That is life-changing money for a coin many people still overlook. Part 9 The reason collectors are willing to pay such high prices is simple: rarity and demand. Coin collecting is one of the most popular hobbies in the world, and US coins dominate the market. Everyone wants to own a piece of history, especially when it ties back to Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most beloved presidents. When supply is limited and demand is high, the market reacts, driving prices upward. Part 10 Another factor adding to the story of the 1970 Lincoln penny is copper itself. Since these coins are composed mostly of copper, their melt value alone can be higher than face value. While it is illegal to melt pennies for their metal, the intrinsic value still influences collectors. People realize that old copper cents will never be made again, since today's pennies are mostly zinc with just a thin copper plating. The 1970 is truly a piece of old America, stamped in real metal with real weight. Part 11 For those hunting this coin, the advice is clear. Search through old coin rolls, bags of wheat pennies, and inherited jars of change. Many families stored away pennies for decades, and inside those jars could be a 1970 in sparkling condition. Always check for doubling on the date and lettering, and look closely at the mint mark for signs of repunching. Even small imperfections can mean big profits if you find the right buyer. Part 12 The history of coin collecting itself shows us why these pennies rise in value. In the 1970s and 1980s, many collectors overlooked modern coins, focusing instead on older silver and gold issues. But as time passed, people realized that modern varieties could be just as rare and just as profitable. This shift in collector interest has pushed the 1970 penny higher and higher in market value, making it one of the key coins for serious Lincoln collectors today. Part 13 Stories circulate of lucky finds where someone purchased a roll of old pennies for face value at a bank and discovered a rare uncirculated 1970 inside. Others have inherited collections from relatives and discovered hidden treasures tucked away in small coin albums. Every time a rare 1970 penny hits the market, it sparks excitement, competition, and bidding wars, proving again how powerful this little coin truly is. Part 14 If you are building a Lincoln cent collection, the 1970 is a coin you cannot ignore. Whether you are chasing it for history, for copper value, for varieties, or for sheer beauty, this penny represents a bridge between the classic copper era and the modern zinc era. It tells a story of mass production, tiny errors, and incredible survival against the odds. And for those lucky enough to own the finest examples, it tells a story of wealth, with values soaring into the six figures. Part 15 So the next time you come across a penny, do not dismiss it as worthless pocket change. That small coin may carry the image of Abraham Lincoln, the weight of American history, and possibly the value of a brand new car or even a house. The 1970 Lincoln penny is living proof that treasures still circulate among us. Keep searching, keep collecting, and maybe one day, you will find your own coin worth over $222,000. This is USA Coins 1, reminding you that history and fortune are hiding in plain sight, right in the palm of your hand. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 1973 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this 1-cent coin could be worth a small fortune in today's market. Some rare examples of the 1973 Lincoln cent have been recorded selling for over $200,000 with an estimated peak value of $222,678. So if you have a 1973 penny lying in your drawer or piggy bank, don't ignore it. That little coin could turn out to be a jackpot. Part 2, Introduction to the coin. The Lincoln penny of 1973 is one of the most fascinating coins of the 20th century. It belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series that first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this cent replaced the Indian head penny and immediately became a collector's favorite. By 1973, the coin had already been in circulation for more than 6 decades, yet it still carried enormous popularity among Americans. Part 3, Historical context of 1973. The year 1973 was a significant moment in American history. The United States was facing economic challenges, inflation, and the aftershocks of the Vietnam War. People relied on coins and paper currency more than ever before. The 1973 Lincoln cent was produced during a time when copper was still the dominant metal in pennies. That makes these coins different from the zinc pennies we see today. This historical background adds extra meaning to why the 1973 cent holds such collectible power. Part 4. Design details. On the obverse side of the 1973 penny, you will see the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head the motto "In God We Trust" is clearly inscribed. On the left side appears the word liberty, while the year 1973 is shown on the right side of the coin. On the reverse side you will see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat design in 1959. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. This fine detail makes the coin not just money, but a miniature piece of art. Part 5. Mintage numbers. The 1973 penny was struck in huge quantities. At the Philadelphia Mint, more than 3.7 billion coins were produced. At the Denver Mint, over 3.5 billion coins rolled off the presses. The San Francisco Mint struck both proof and circulation coins. Despite the large production numbers, only a tiny fraction of these coins exist today in high mint state condition, which is why the rare ones are worth so much money. Part 6. The copper composition. One important feature of the 1973 penny is its composition. These coins were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams. This makes them different from the pennies made after 1982, which switched to a copper-plated zinc composition. Collectors love the pre-1982 copper pennies because of their heavier weight and their higher intrinsic metal value. Part 7. Common circulation value. If you have a 1973 penny that has been in circulation, most of them are worth between 1 and 3 cents. This means the average worn example does not bring much above face value. However, collectors do look for sharp details and minimal wear. Even slightly better preserved coins can be worth more than just a cent. Part 8. Uncirculated value. Now, let's talk about uncirculated 1973 pennies. These are the coins that never entered circulation and still look brand new. A 1973 penny in mint state 65 condition can sell for between $10 and $15. That might not sound like much, but when you move higher up the grading scale, the value skyrockets. Coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 by professional grading companies are extremely rare and can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Part 9. Proof coins from San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof versions of the 1973 penny. Proof coins are specially made for collectors and have a mirror-like surface with sharp details. More than 2.7 million proof pennies were made in 1973. Today, a proof 1973 Lincoln cent in perfect condition can sell for around $50 to $100, with some cameo or deep cameo examples reaching even higher. Part 10. Rare errors to watch for. What really makes the 1973 penny exciting is the potential for mint errors. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for mistakes. Some of the most valuable error types include double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. These rare varieties can transform an ordinary penny into a coin worth thousands of dollars. Part 11. Record auction sales. In the coin collecting world, record sales always catch attention. Certain high-grade 1973 Lincoln cents have reached extraordinary prices at auction. The highest known sales for pristine examples have touched well over $200,000. That's why we say the 1973 penny can be worth up to $222,678. It all depends on the grade, rarity, and demand from collectors. Part 12. Why collectors love it. Collectors love the 1973 penny for several reasons. First, it is part of the long and iconic Lincoln cent series. Second, it is made of copper, a material no longer used in modern cents. Third, it has error varieties that make it an exciting challenge for collectors to hunt. And finally, it connects us to a historic period in American life during the 1970s. Part 13. Tips for collectors. If you are searching for valuable 1973 pennies, here are some tips. Always check the coin's condition under good lighting. Look for sharp details, full luster, and no scratches. Consider sending your coin to a professional grading service if you think it could be high quality. And of course, always research recent sales so you know the market value. Part 14, Current Market Demand Today. The demand for the 1973 Lincoln cent remains strong. Collectors actively bid for high-grade examples in auctions. Average circulated coins are common, but rare errors and high mint state pieces are becoming harder to find. That is why the current market continues to push values upward, making this penny a hot item for coin enthusiasts. Part 15, Closing Message. So next time you come across a 1973 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. It might just be an ordinary cent, but it could also be a treasure worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This coin proves that history, art, and value can all be hidden in the smallest piece of money. Thank you for watching USA Coins 1. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Who knows, maybe you or someone you know is sitting on a 1973 penny worth a fortune. Stay tuned for more amazing stories about rare and valuable coins. Today, we are diving deep into the story of the 1979 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might look like just another 1-cent coin, but behind its copper shine lies a history of American minting, unique variations, and a surprising market value that has caught the attention of collectors worldwide. Some examples of this coin have even been valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars, reaching as high as $222,677 in rare cases. Part 2, The Origins of the Lincoln Penny. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Before that, the cent featured designs like the Indian head penny. But the Lincoln penny was groundbreaking. It was the first American coin to feature the portrait of a real historical person. Sculptor Victor David Brenner's design of Lincoln's face became a national symbol of respect. By 1979, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for 70 years, and its role in American coinage was stronger than ever. Part 3, The 1979 Penny and its Composition. The 1979 Lincoln penny was struck primarily in copper. Specifically, it was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition gave the coin its reddish-brown shine. It's important to remember that in the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of pennies to mostly zinc because copper had become too expensive. That makes copper cents from the 1970s, like the 1979 penny, especially attractive to collectors. Part 4, Mint Locations and Production Numbers. The 1979 penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark adds uniqueness to the coin. Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark, Denver pennies carried a D, and San Francisco coins bore an S mint mark. With billions produced, many people might assume the 1979 penny is common. But the story doesn't stop there. Variations, minting errors, and high-grade conditions make some of these pennies extremely valuable. Part 5, The Philadelphia 1979 Penny. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 6 billion Lincoln pennies in 1979. While that may sound like an enormous number, not all of them survived in good condition. Circulated pennies are often worth only face value. But uncirculated, high-grade examples can sell for impressive prices. Some top-quality 1979 Philadelphia pennies graded by experts have sold for several $1,000s. Part 6, The Denver 1979 Penny with the D Mint Mark. The Denver Mint struck more than 4 billion pennies in 1979. The D Mint mark makes these coins special for collectors who love mint variety. While common examples are easy to find in circulation, the highest-graded Denver coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors especially prize coins with a sharp strike, strong luster, and no scratches. Part 7, The San Francisco Proof Pennies. The San Francisco Mint is famous for striking proof coins. In 1979, about 3.6 million proof pennies were produced with an S mint mark. Proof pennies are not made for circulation. Instead, they are struck with specially polished dies to create a mirror-like finish. These coins were often sold directly to collectors and are worth far more than face value, especially in perfect condition. Part 8, Errors and Varieties of the 1979 Penny. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is error coins. The 1979 penny has several known error varieties, including double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. These errors happen during the minting process and are highly sought after by collectors. Some rare 1979 penny errors have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. Part 9. The double die obverse. Perhaps the most famous type of error is the double die. On some 1979 pennies, you can see doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself. These doubling errors create a striking appearance, and collectors will pay a premium for them. Depending on the grade and clarity of the doubling, prices can range from a few $100s to several thousand. Part 10. Condition and grading. Importance. Grading is everything when it comes to coin value. A circulated 1979 penny might be worth only a few cents. But the same coin in mint state condition, graded MS 65 or higher, could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Collectors rely on grading companies like PCGS and NGC to certify the quality of their coins. The better the grade, the more money the coin can fetch. Part 11. Record-breaking sales. Now, here is where things get truly exciting. While most 1979 pennies might only be worth a few dollars, certain rare examples in top condition have sold for astronomical prices. Some rare coins with unique errors or flawless grades have reached values close to $222,677, making the 1979 penny a hidden treasure in the world of coin collecting. Part 12. Why collectors love the 1979 penny. Collectors are drawn to the 1979 penny for many reasons. It's a copper coin, a metal that carries nostalgic and historical value. It comes from an era just before the big composition change in the 1980s. It has multiple mint varieties, proof issues, and exciting error types. For both beginner and expert collectors, the 1979 penny is an essential piece of the Lincoln Cent series. Part 13. How to spot valuable 1979 pennies. If you have a jar of old coins at home, don't overlook those 1979 pennies. Look closely for sharp details, minimal wear, and any signs of errors like doubling or off-center strikes. Use a magnifying glass to study the mint mark and lettering. If you suspect you have a valuable coin, consider sending it to a professional grading service. Part 14. Investment potential. With copper value rising and collector demand staying strong, the 1979 penny holds real investment potential. While most are common, rare varieties and top-grade examples continue to grow in value over time. Holding on to high-quality coins could mean a big payday in the future. Part 15. Conclusion and call to action. So, the next time you come across a 1979 Lincoln penny, remember that it's more than just pocket change. It's a piece of American history, a symbol of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, and for some lucky collectors, a coin worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. From copper composition to minting errors, the 1979 penny is a true hidden gem in the world of U.S. coinage. This has been USA Coins 1, where we bring you the hidden stories and real values of American coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1979 Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another treasure hunting adventure. Who knows, the next valuable coin could be sitting right in your pocket. Today, we dive deep into one of the most fascinating pennies in American history, the Lincoln Cent from 1983 with the Denver mint mark, known as the 1983 Lincoln penny. This little copper-colored coin has captured the attention of collectors worldwide, not only for its place in numismatic history but also for its incredible current market value that in some cases has been recorded as high as $222,677. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that most people overlook could actually be worth a fortune. Part 2. The legacy of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln Cent is the longest-running coin design in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it replaced the Indian head cent and immediately became a collector's favorite. Over the decades, it has undergone small changes, but its place in American culture has never faded. By 1983, the Lincoln penny had already been circulating for more than 70 years, but that year would mark a massive shift in its composition that makes the 1983 coin so special. Part 3. The big change in 1982. To understand the importance of the 1983 penny, we must go back just 1 year earlier. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a historic decision. Rising copper prices meant it cost more to produce a penny than the coin was worth. So, the mint switched from 95% copper to a new composition of copper-plated zinc. Starting in 1982, most pennies were made with only a thin layer of copper over a core of zinc, dramatically lowering production costs. This change created a transitional period, and many collectors began paying close attention to pennies from 1982 and 1983 because they could reveal unique characteristics. Part 4, the 1983 penny strikes the scene. In 1983, the Denver Mint produced millions of pennies with the new zinc composition. At first glance, these coins look just like earlier copper pennies, but underneath their thin copper shell lies a zinc core. This is where the story gets interesting, because small changes in minting, die varieties, and striking pressure gave birth to some of the rarest error coins of the decade. The 1983 penny became not just a regular coin, but a mystery piece with hidden treasures for sharp-eyed collectors. Part 5, the doubled die obverse. One of the most famous varieties of the 1983 penny is the doubled die obverse. On these coins, the lettering and date appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. If you look closely at "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the year 1983, you can sometimes see noticeable doubling. These error coins are rare, and when collectors find them in pristine condition, the value skyrockets. This variety alone has made the 1983 penny a legendary piece in American coin history. Part 6, Copper versus Zinc debate. Although the mint officially transitioned to zinc cores in 1982, reports of 1983 pennies being struck on leftover copper planchets have surfaced. Imagine finding a 1983 penny not in zinc but in nearly pure copper. Such transitional errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after. When verified by experts, these coins can reach staggering amounts at auction, which is why collectors continue searching through rolls of pennies hoping to uncover one. Part 7, Condition matters most. Like all coins, the value of a 1983 penny depends heavily on its condition. Coins that have circulated heavily, with scratches, wear, and discoloration, are worth far less than those that have been preserved in mint state. A certified uncirculated 1983 penny with strong luster and sharp details can command prices far above its face value. And when combined with an error or a rare planchet, that value can rise into the thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Part 8, Record sales and auctions. Now, let's talk numbers. Some 1983 Lincoln pennies in exceptional condition have fetched prices that shocked even veteran coin collectors. Reports show that certain rare varieties tied to doubling or copper planchets have been sold for over $200,000. In fact, one of the most famous records places the value at approximately $222,677. Just imagine, a coin worth 1 cent suddenly turning into life-changing money. This is the kind of story that excites treasure hunters all over the world. Part 9, Everyday Hunting Grounds. The good news for collectors and viewers of USA Coins 1 is that these coins are still out there. The 1983 penny was minted in huge numbers, meaning millions were released into circulation. Many people have them sitting in jars, old piggy banks, or forgotten collections. By carefully checking each penny, especially from the early 1980s, you might discover a hidden treasure. It costs nothing more than your time and patience, but the rewards can be astonishing. Part 10, How to identify errors when examining a 1983 penny. Pay close attention to details. Look for doubling in the inscriptions. Check the coin's weight. Copper pennies are heavier than zinc ones. Examine the edges for unusual markings. Small differences that might seem insignificant to an untrained eye could signal a rare and valuable variety. Collectors often use magnifying glasses, digital scales, and reference guides to confirm their finds. Part 11, Grading and Certification. If you think you found a rare 1983 penny, the next step is professional grading. Reputable organizations like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. A certified coin carries far more value than one that is ungraded, because buyers have confidence in its authenticity and quality. A penny worth a few $100s raw could leap into the thousands once graded and confirmed as a true rarity. Part 12, The Cultural Value of the Penny Beyond Money. The Lincoln penny holds cultural and historical significance. It has been in the pockets of Americans for generations, a reminder of Abraham Lincoln's leadership and the country's history. The 1983 penny is part of that story, representing not just a shift in metal composition but also the broader economic challenges of the time. Holding one in your hand connects you to a moment when America's smallest coin carried big importance. Part 13, Market Trends Today. In today's market, coin collecting is more popular than ever. With online auctions, coin shows, and social media groups, collectors share discoveries instantly. The excitement around rare Lincoln cents, especially varieties like the 1983 continues to grow. Prices reflect that demand. Even common 1983 pennies in uncirculated condition can bring solid returns, while rare varieties keep breaking records. Part 14, Why collectors love the 1983 penny. Collectors are drawn to the 1983 penny for many reasons. Its role in the transition from copper to zinc, its rare varieties, and its potential for huge value make it irresistible. For new collectors, it represents the thrill of the hunt. For experts, it's a reminder that even in modern coinage, hidden treasures exist. Every time you pick up a penny from this year, you're engaging with a story of history, economics, and chance. Part 15, Closing Message. So, what's the lesson of the 1983 Lincoln penny? Never underestimate the power of the smallest coin. That 1 cent in your pocket could hold the key to a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whether you're searching through change, building a collection, or studying American history, the 1983 penny reminds us that great value often hides in plain sight. This has been USA Coins 1, your trusted source for coin history, values, and rare discoveries. If you enjoyed this journey into the 1983 Lincoln penny, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Who knows, maybe the next great treasure is sitting in your pocket right now. Today we are going to dive deep into the story, the history, and the surprising market value of the 1994 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may just look like an ordinary cent, but believe me, some of these coins are worth much more than 1 cent, even reaching hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases values as high as $222,676. Stay with me until the end because you do not want to miss the secrets that make this coin so special. Part 2. The Lincoln penny has been a symbol of American history for over a century. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first American coin to feature the image of a real historical person. By 1994, the Lincoln penny had already gone through decades of circulation, design changes, and minting experiments. Every coin minted during those years carries stories about America's economy, its culture, and its collectors. Part 3. Now let's focus on the year 1994. During this year, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln pennies across 3 major mints. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins with no mint mark, the Denver Mint produced coins with the letter D, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with the letter S. While billions might sound like too many for rarity, what makes the 1994 penny interesting is not just its common numbers but the errors, conditions, and unique varieties that can transform a single coin into a treasure. Part 4. Imagine holding a shiny 1994 penny that looks almost untouched by time. Collectors call these coins mint state, and they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A 1994 penny in poor circulated condition may only be worth 1 cent, but in high mint state grades like MS65 or higher, its value begins to climb significantly. The most pristine examples, those nearly perfect coins, have shocked the coin market by selling for astonishing amounts at auction. Part 5. Why does the 1994 penny have such potential value? The answer lies in rarity within condition. While billions were minted, most of them were spent, scratched, and worn out through decades of use. But the few that survived in top uncirculated condition are incredibly rare. Collectors are always chasing these high-quality survivors because they represent both history and perfection in coin collecting. Part 6. Another important factor is mint errors. Some 1994 pennies were struck off-center, some had doubled dies where the lettering or date appears doubled, and some were struck on the wrong planchets. These mint mistakes are highly collectible because they are rare accidents that should never have left the mint. When collectors find them, the value skyrockets. A rare double die or dramatic off-center strike can make a penny worth thousands of dollars instantly. Part 7. Let's not forget about proof coins from San Francisco. These coins were specially struck with polished dies on special planchets to create mirror-like surfaces. They were never meant for circulation but were sold in proof sets for collectors. A flawless 1994 S-proof penny graded PR70 can reach hundreds of dollars, and in some cases far more, depending on market demand. Part 8. Now let's talk about the incredible market sales. Some rare 1994 Lincoln pennies in top grades have sold for more than $2,000 at major auctions. Special error varieties have climbed much higher, and the rarest examples could reach values near $222,676. These are not everyday finds, but they do exist, and when they surface, collectors compete fiercely to own them. Part 9. The history of the Lincoln penny connects us directly to President Abraham Lincoln, the man who preserved the Union during the Civil War and changed the course of American history. That is why this coin has lasted so long and remained so loved. By 1994, the coin was already 85 years old, a true piece of history still being used in everyday commerce. Holding one is like holding a small piece of American heritage. Part 10. Collectors always ask, how do I know if my 1994 penny is valuable? The first step is to check the mint mark. Look for pennies with no mint mark from Philadelphia, the letter D from Denver, and the letter S from San Francisco. Next, examine the condition. The shinier and less scratched, the better. Then check for errors by carefully studying the date, the lettering, and the design. Any doubling, off-center strike, or unusual feature could mean you have a valuable coin. Part 11. Another key to value is professional grading. Collectors often send coins to companies like PCGS or NGC to have them authenticated and graded. A simple 1994 penny can multiply in value if it comes back graded as MS67 or MS68. This is why collectors never underestimate even the most common-looking pennies. Part 12. The penny has always carried more value than its face suggests. It tells a story of American identity, economic shifts, and artistic design. From copper coins of the early 20th century to the copper-plated zinc coins of 1994, each penny is a time capsule of its era. When we examine these coins, we see not just metal, but history in our hands. Part 13. For coin hunters, searching for a rare 1994 penny can be thrilling. You could find one in a jar of old change, a roll of pennies from the bank, or even in your wallet. That is the magic of coin collecting. Treasure is out there, waiting to be discovered, and it could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now. Part 14. So what is the current market value of the 1994 Lincoln penny today? In average circulated condition, it is worth face value, just 1 cent. In uncirculated mint state, values range from a few dollars up to hundreds. Rare high-grade examples can climb into the thousands. Special error coins and proofs are worth even more, and the most unique sales have stunned the market with values reaching over $222,676. Part 15. Inches. Conclusion. The 1994 Lincoln penny is much more than a simple coin. It is a reminder of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, a symbol of American history, and a potential treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1994 Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to USA Coins 1, and ring the bell so you never miss our future explorations into the world of rare coins. Who knows, your next penny could be worth a fortune. Today. In this video, we are exploring one of the most interesting modern pennies ever struck, the Lincoln cent from the year 1997, minted at the Denver Mint with the D mint mark. Many people think modern pennies are worth only 1 cent, but the truth is that some of these coins can be worth an incredible amount of money, with values soaring as high as $222,675 depending on condition, rarity, and errors. Part 2. The legacy of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909. making it one of the longest-running coin series in United States history. It was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it quickly became the most familiar coin in the pockets of Americans. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through changes in design, composition, and minting techniques, but it has always remained a cornerstone of everyday commerce. Part 3. The year 1997 in U.S. coinage. The year 1997 was part of the era where the Lincoln cent was still struck with a copper-plated zinc composition. Since 1982, the United States Mint had shifted from nearly pure copper coins to zinc coins with a thin copper plating. This means the 1997 D penny is mostly zinc with a very thin layer of copper, which is why some coins from this era show plating problems, blistering, or other striking issues that can make them collectible. Part 4. The Denver Mint and the D Mint mark. The 1997 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, one of the most important U.S. mints. The D Mint mark is located just below the year on the obverse side of the coin, right under the date. The Denver Mint is known for producing billions of coins every year, and in 1997 it struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Even though so many were made, the true treasures are hidden among them in the form of high-grade uncirculated examples, rare varieties, and dramatic minting errors. Part 5. The obverse design. On the obverse, or front of the 1997 D penny, we see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic design has been on the penny for more than a century. The words "In God We Trust" are inscribed above his head, Liberty appears to the left, and the date 1997 along with the D Mint mark appear to the right. Collectors love sharp strikes where Lincoln's hair, jawline, and suit details are fully visible without wear. Part 6. The reverse design. On the reverse of the 1997 D penny, we see the image of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the reverse, if you look closely with magnification, you can actually see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, which is a detail many people miss. Above the memorial, the words United States of America appear, with the motto E pluribus unum just below, and 1 cent at the bottom. Part 7. Mintage numbers. In 1997, the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of pennies, totaling over 6 billion coins. That number is mind-blowing, but even within such a large production, not all coins are created equal. Some were struck with extra sharp dies, some with errors, and some survived in pristine untouched condition. These are the coins collectors hunt for and pay top dollar to own. Part 8. Circulated value. In normal circulated condition, most 1997 D pennies are worth just their face value of 1 cent. You can find them in pocket change, coin rolls, and jars. However, when you look at the highest grades of preservation, things change dramatically. Collectors are willing to pay far more for coins that remain nearly flawless, with original luster, no scratches, and full details. Part 9. Uncirculated and mint state values. In mint state grades, especially MS65, MS66, and higher, the 1997 D penny can bring strong premiums. A coin graded MS67 or better with full red color can sell for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. These coins must be certified by trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC to command such prices. Part 10. Proof-like and satin examples. Although the Denver Mint did not strike proof pennies, occasionally a coin comes off the dies with unusually sharp detail and reflective surfaces. These coins look almost proof-like and are extremely attractive to collectors. Finding one of these in circulation is a rare stroke of luck. Part 11. Error varieties. Error coins are where values can explode. Some 1997 D pennies are known with dramatic die breaks, off-center strikes, double dies, or even clipped planchets. Errors add rarity and desirability. A dramatic off-center strike or bold double die could transform a 1-cent coin into a collectible worth thousands. Part 12. Record auction sales. One of the most astonishing things about the 1997 D penny is that certain high-grade or rare error examples have sold for huge amounts of money. At top condition with perfect red color, these coins can reach values over $222,675 in private sales or auctions. That is why coin collectors check their pennies carefully, even modern ones, because you never know what hidden treasure might be sitting in your change. Part 13. Collector demand. Collectors are always eager to fill their Lincoln penny albums and sets, and the 1997 D penny plays an important role in completing those collections. The demand for high-quality modern pennies is growing, especially as more people realize how few survive in pristine condition. Part 14. Tips for finding valuable 1997 D pennies. If you want to search for valuable examples, check coin rolls from the bank, inspect pennies from your pocket change, and look carefully with a magnifying glass. Focus on finding coins with full red luster, no spots, and strong strike details. Always pay attention to mint errors or unusual features. Storing coins properly in holders or albums will also preserve their condition and future value. Part 15. Conclusion and channel outro. The 1997 D Lincoln penny may seem ordinary at first glance, but it holds a story of history, design, rarity, and incredible value. From billions minted in Denver to the handful that are now worth small fortunes, this coin proves that treasures still exist in everyday change. Some of these pennies have been valued as high as $222,675, making them a dream find for any collector. So the next time you see a 1997 D penny, take a closer look. It could be worth much more than you think. Thank you for joining us here on USA Coins 1, where we bring you the fascinating stories and values behind coins of the United States. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share so you never miss our deep dives into rare and valuable coins. Stay tuned for more episodes, because the next coin we cover might just be hiding in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into one of the most collected coins of modern times, the 1997 Lincoln penny. This little 1-cent coin might seem ordinary, but when you peel back the layers of history, rarity, and market demand, you discover that some examples can be worth far more than face value, even soaring to amounts like $222,674 in the highest grades and rarest conditions. Part 2. The Lincoln cent is the longest-running coin design in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it became a symbol of strength, resilience, and national pride. By 1997, the Lincoln cent had already crossed over 80 years of production, and yet collectors continued to treasure it. The design of 1997 kept the famous Lincoln Memorial reverse, a design that had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the obverse, the portrait of Lincoln by Victor David Brenner remained a timeless image of leadership. Part 3. The 1997 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints. Philadelphia produced coins without a mint mark, Denver struck coins with the letter D, and San Francisco struck the proof issues marked with an S. Each mint created millions of coins, but not every coin is equal. Condition, mint errors, and grading by professional services like PCGS and NGC can elevate a simple cent into a rare collector's treasure. Part 4. Let's talk numbers. In 1997 the Philadelphia Mint produced over 4.5 billion pennies, the Denver Mint struck over 4.6 billion, and the San Francisco Mint issued more than 2 million proof coins. With such massive numbers, you might think every 1997 penny is common. But rarity in the coin world is not just about mintage. It's about survival in pristine condition, unusual die varieties, and hidden errors. Part 5. The metal composition of the 1997 penny is important. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already switched from a primarily copper coin to a coin mostly made of zinc. Since 1982, Lincoln cents have been composed of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper plating. This makes them lighter, less durable, and more prone to damage over time. Finding a 1997 penny in immaculate, untouched condition is more challenging than it seems. Part 6. Collectors are always on the lookout for the famous double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and broad strikes. A 1997 penny with one of these errors can multiply in value dramatically. Imagine holding a coin that millions ignored as pocket change but which a trained eye identifies as a minting marvel worth thousands. That is the thrill of coin collecting, and that is why the 1997 Lincoln penny holds a special place. Part 7. Now let's step back into history. Abraham Lincoln's image on the penny was not only revolutionary in 1909, being the first American coin to feature a real person, but it also carried into modern times. By 1997, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been on the coin for almost 4 decades. Each tiny coin carried the image of the Great Memorial in Washington, D.C., with even the statue of Lincoln visible inside if you look closely with magnification. Part 8. When we talk about value, we must talk about grading. A 1997 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is usually worth only face value. But in uncirculated, high mint state grades, the story changes. For example, a 1997 penny graded MS-67 red by PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The higher the grade, the fewer the survivors, and the greater the value. Part 9. The record prices are where it gets exciting. Some of the highest graded 1997 pennies have reached staggering numbers in the market, with rare error coins pushing values to unimaginable heights. Imagine a tiny cent suddenly selling for over $222,000 simply because it survived in flawless condition with an extraordinary strike. That is the magic of numismatics, turning everyday money into a collector's dream. Part 10. But what about proof coins from San Francisco? These special strikes were made with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces, designed specifically for collectors. A 1997 S-proof penny in perfect PR70 condition can also command serious premiums. Collectors cherish the deep cameo contrast between the mirrored fields and frosted devices, making the proof coins miniature works of art. Part 11. The 1997 penny also stands as a snapshot of America in the late 1990s. This was a decade of technological change, economic growth, and cultural shifts. The coins of this era reflect not just monetary value but also the story of a nation evolving. Each cent tells a story of commerce, trade, and the hands it passed through before collectors began pulling the finest examples aside for preservation. Part 12. Errors from 1997 are particularly fascinating. Off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, doubled dies where letters appear doubled, or even transitional errors where wrong planchets were used can all bring immense value. These coins can turn into numismatic jackpots, catching the attention of collectors worldwide and skyrocketing in auctions. Part 13. The Lincoln cent has always been more than a coin. It is an introduction to coin collecting for millions of people. Many collectors started by searching through their pocket change, and the 1997 penny is one of those coins that sparks curiosity. Finding a gem condition example is like uncovering hidden treasure, and that excitement fuels the demand in today's coin market. Part 14. So, what should you do if you have a 1997 penny? First, check the condition. Look for sharp details, no scratches, and bright original luster. Second, check for errors like double dies or off-center strikes. Third, consider sending your coin to a professional grading service. A small investment in grading could transform a coin from pocket change into a fortune. Part 15. Inches. Conclusion. The 1997 Lincoln penny is far more than just 1 cent. It carries history, artistry, and hidden wealth. With a current market value reaching figures like $222,674 in rare conditions, it proves that no coin is truly ordinary. This is why collectors continue to chase it, study it, and treasure it. Here at USA Coins 1, we remind you that every coin in your hand has a story and possibly a hidden fortune. So keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe your 1997 penny will be the one worth a life-changing amount of money.